Heard one.
Yay!
Okay, let's go, everybody. 1, 2, 3.
Yay!
Yay!
Hello! Oy vey.
So Tara.
So that was good. Okay, now mute yourselves, everybody. Do you hear an echo, by the way? Okay, it's just me.
Someone needs to mute.
Richard, do you hear an echo?
I do. Someone needs to mute.
Okay. I'm still hearing it. Better. My name is Jerry O'Shitton. I'm one of the co-producers, along with Ed Giron, of tonight's reading of Friends, Among Friends. I'd like to, at the outset, we normally save this for the end, but Richard Dugan, who's our production engineer, has done yeoman's service for the show. Part of it is live, part of it is recorded. There's a mix. All the titles, all the music, everything you see and hear, except for the actors, comes from Richard. So Richard, well done as always. I wanted to put you up in lights at the front because you really deserve it. Tonight, we're doing 4 readings of 4 short plays. First one, Another Minute by our good friend Gil Kofman, playwright from Los Angeles, who joined our circle of friends for the first time tonight. Welcome, Gil and Tracy. I see your names up there. Next, one of our stalwarts of our company, Stuart Orenstein's play, Zt'l. Hopefully I said that right. It's about a scene in the Bronx, and I'm from Brooklyn, so I'm not sure if I said Zt'l correctly. Stuart and Jaron Pills and other of our company members are performing in that. Next, and by the way, the first play, Another Minute, is directed by myself. The second play, Zt'l, is directed by Ed Giron. Third play is a play written by Ed. It's The Ghost of Grace Kelly. I heard somebody mutter out there, who's Grace Kelly? Well, you'll find out. Ed wrote it, performs in it, and think of Noel Coward when you see it. It's just riveting and brilliant. And finally, last but hopefully not least, is a little play by Tennessee Williams called Mr. Paradise. And that involves me and Mindy Serrano, who's also with Ed in the first play, Another Minute, written by our friend Gil Kofman. See that. Ed and Mindy are going to start us off in another minute. And take a minute, guys, and then you're on.
He knows.
He doesn't know.
He's facing the other way.
Maybe he just doesn't like mirrors.
He knows.
That's what you always say.
No. This time it's different. He
What
knows
time
we're
is it?
here. You bored?
Just tell me the time.
Another minute and he's all yours.
New?
Excuse me?
Your watch. Is it new?
Oh, present from Denise.
Your wife.
Daughter, actually.
Sorry.
Diane.
Huh?
That's her name, my wife.
Ah, yes.
Diane.
Well, it's very nice.
Well, she'll be happy to hear you say that. See, she's never felt quite comfortable with her name. But then again, who really does when you stop to think about it?
I meant the watch.
Oh, I see. Sorry.
It's very nice.
Thank you.
Has lots of buttons on it.
Ah, yes, it does. Ask me what time it is in Istanbul.
Istanbul.
You go on. Ask me.
What the fuck do I care what time it is in Istanbul? Is everything here set up?
Right now, it's 5:10 in the morning. The good people of Istanbul are just now waking up to their morning prayers.
Wouldn't mind to be waking up myself right now.
Well, I'm sure he wouldn't either.
No, don't you worry. Don't you worry. I'll make him pay for this. Miserable son of a bitch. I'm going to make him pay with interest.
I see. Well, you know, he hasn't done anything. He hasn't even begun to resist.
I'm here, aren't I? Could be home, lying in a warm bed, drinking coffee, reading the day's paper, but instead, I'm here with you.
That's not his fault.
You want to be his lawyer?
Well, what's he accused of anyway?
The usual.
Meaning what exactly?
A little bit of this, a little bit of that. How the fuck should I know? Isn't it time yet?
Another minute. Just another minute. He's at the mirror now. You can take another look if you'd like.
No thanks. Be seeing plenty of him once we start.
He has a kind face, this one.
You always say that.
Sad eyes.
Enough already.
Soul of sadness. His eyes.
I asked you to drop it.
You should really take a close look just this once before we begin.
Why in the hell would I want to do that?
Well, it shouldn't be too hard. You on one side and he on the other.
Sorry, I only get involved when I have to.
Can you hear it?
No. What?
He's crying.
Don't let him fool you.
Just listen.
You call that crying?
It's hard to ignore.
Move away from the glass.
I can't.
You know what your trouble is?
Yes?
You've been at it too long.
You think so?
You should do like I do.
Oh, what's that?
Fuck them.
Well, I try.
Screw them.
But each time it just gets harder and harder.
Piss on them. Filthy little shits. Give them half a chance and they do the same to you.
Poor thing, look at him. It's like he knows what's coming, what to expect.
You talk as if he's innocent.
Isn't that why we're here?
Please.
To find out whether or not he might actually be innocent.
Not when I'm through with the impudent little prick he won't be. Now, are you ready to go in there, or am I going to have to call the supervisor?
No. No, I'm ready.
Good. Let's go then.
Wait. He's coming back. He's coming back this way.
The mirror?
Yes.
What's he doing?
Well, I thought you weren't interested.
You're right. I'm not. Let's go.
You know, I was right all along. I'm suspecting that.
Really?
He must know.
Impossible.
If he doesn't know, he that we're here, why is he staring at us?
He's not staring.
What do you call this then?
Don't kid yourself. A two-way mirror works from one side only. Everyone knows that.
Come look. Why do you refuse to look?
Tell me something. Just between us. Everything okay at home? Wife paying you enough attention these days? Yes. She's a good woman. Denise. Wouldn't mind meeting someone like that myself one day.
Diane, you mean Diane?
That's right. Denise is your daughter.
Yes.
Gave you the watch.
Yeah, that's right.
Beautiful girl. Beautiful.
What exactly are you getting at?
How old are you, Hal?
50 last month. This was my present.
Have you considered a transfer? I hear they need people in Sector 3. Good pay, easy hours.
Yeah. And the next thing you know, they're all whispering behind your back. Hey, psst. Have you heard about Hal from Ward 6? No. No, thanks. Better not start with them. Once you call attention to yourself, it's all over. Remember Larry? What they did to him? No. Better just to keep quiet. Mind your own business.
Wow. For your information, Larry was,
I don't believe it.
read the report yourself.
That is just hearsay.
Not exactly.
Oh, it's imperfect rumors.
I was the one who questioned him, you know.
You?
In the end, I was the only one who could get him to talk.
Don't tell me this.
They promised me his car. The lying bastards. Can you believe it? They promised me his stupid car and they gave the fucking thing to some jerk in personnel.
I thought you and Larry were friends. You were supposed to be his friend.
Yeah, well, better me than someone else.
Hey, you know something? I'm glad they never gave you his car. I'm glad.
Fuck you, Hal. At least I don't stand here complaining all day about what has to get done. You know, we're not that different, you and I. You'd like to think we are, but we're not. I've seen what you can do when you get inside that room. The look on your face, the eagerness in your hands. You're not exactly what I'd call the shy type.
Well, in there, it's different. You know that. Once you enter that room, it becomes an entirely different story.
Yeah. You kind of enjoy it.
Oh, that's not fair. When I'm in there, I do everything in my power to get out as quickly as possible. If that means resorting to a little more violence.
Cold grip of the
so
instruments.
be it.
The clear sense of purpose they give you. I know. I've seen how you operate in there. I know what you're really like. Now, put your mask on and follow me.
What about him?
What about him?
He's still at the mirror.
Think I give a shit?
Maybe. I was thinking we could just Wait a little bit longer.
Another minute.
Just until he turns away so he's not looking right into the glass. What do you say?
Out of the question. Now, are you coming or do I ring for the supervisor?
Hey, you sure you want to hear a good joke first?
This is getting really pathetic.
Guaranteed to make you laugh.
I'd rather make him cry.
You of all people, I thought you'd appreciate it.
Why? Is it?
Dirty?
That's not what I meant.
Really?
We don't have time for jokes.
I can tell you the punchline if you prefer.
We should really get started.
Okay. Man looks in the mirror and says, "This is going to hurt me a lot more than it's going to hurt you."
Are you done?
Or maybe it's the other way around. Maybe he looks in the mirror and says, "It's going to hurt you a lot more than it does me."
It's not very funny. Either way, it's not very funny.
He seems to like it.
I didn't think he could hear us.
He's laughing.
That's not a good sign. Not a good sign.
Oh. I've never heard anyone laugh so hard before in my life.
I hope they didn't hear him.
Well, I am afraid it's a little too late to worry about that.
You think?
Just listen to him. They're not gonna like this, not one bit.
I can make him stop. I'm going to go in there and I'm going to make the little fucker stop.
Won't help us now. They're expecting to hear the voice of pain, not someone laughing beside himself.
I'll teach him what's funny if it's the last fucking thing I do. What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you?
Nothing.
You think this is funny?
No, but I can't stop. Here I am looking in the glass and for the first time, I could actually myself.
Bullshit. Only person you can see through the glass is him. That's how these things are designed, and that is how they operate.
Maybe. But when I look, I can see no one but myself. My face. So do I look different to you?
Different?
Who do I look like? Tell me, who do I look like?
This a trick question?
Do I look like him?
Him.
Oh, please. Please don't hurt me. Here, take my watch. I know you've had your eye on it. Please take it. It tells time all over, see? In Istanbul, they've already started to mouth their morning prayers.
What's gotten into you?
I look into the glass and I see no one but myself. But I'm not supposed to be able to see myself, at least according to you. So I must be him. I must be him.
Are you crazy?
Either that, or I'm standing on the other side. Which is it? Come on, you tell me. Which do you think it is?
You know what they're going to do to you if you don't stop this.
What? Tell me. What are they going to do?
You just better quit laughing and come with me right now.
Why? Where are you going?
We have a job to do. You coming?
I don't know. It depends. Are you already here?
So the award for the best performance by an actress, Grace Kelly for The Country Girl.
The thrill of this moment keeps me from saying what I really feel. I can only say thank you with all my heart to all who made this possible for me. Thank you.
I was a stage actress.
I never knew that.
I wasn't able to project that well.
I didn't know that either.
Film and television suited me better.
Well, that's all very fortunate because you'll always be remembered.
By now, perhaps I'm more forgotten than remembered.
Oh, you'll always be remembered. You're Grace Kelly, or the ghost of Grace Kelly. Is that right?
Certainly not the ghost of Lauren Bacall.
Well, yes, of course, but
Nor Audrey Hepburn.
yes, I can see that.
Why? Would you have preferred her?
No, 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 not at all. I adored you. I still do. High Noon, To Catch a Thief, Rear Window. No one has the elegance, the femininity.
You flatter me too much. You didn't mention The Country Girl.
Oh, Country Girl. Yeah, yes, of course. Wonderful on Oscar, but nothing will ever compare to the vision you are in Rear Window.
I thank you.
You don't look a day over.
Never. That's a woman's age.
Well, when you died, forgive me for bringing that up, but when you died, you were a lot older than you look now.
Is that an inartful attempt at flattery?
I think it's more a foot in my mouth.
I like you, you know.
Yes, but your husband, the prince. Do you go back to him?
I've chosen to be here with you. Have I not?
Yes, but
You know a lot about me. I'm easy to find on YouTube, TCM, Netflix, on the internet. But if I went to IMDb, is it? Or Wikipedia, would I find much about you?
all right. We'll gloss over the topic of the prince if you like. I don't want to know anyway. Now, you won't find me on Wikipedia, but I am on IMDb and Facebook, not Twitter, not Pinterest, but some other websites maybe. Look up the words marginal screenwriter and I'll just be a footnote.
I don't think you give yourself enough credit. Tell me about your favorite screenplay.
John Michael Hayes' Rear Window. He wrote great dialogue. He wrote To Catch a Thief too, but of course you know that.
I meant for you to tell me your favorite screenplay that you wrote.
Are you really really interested? It's called Light and Shadow. It takes place in the late 1800s, and the main character is volunteering at this institution, and she meets an indigent man who comes there for shelter, but she's privileged, and he's apparently dying of an incurable disease.
Wonderful.
You know it?
I do. I think the male role is written superbly, but the woman, Cadeau, she...
You remember her name?
Oh, of course I do. Cadeau could have been softer, more gentle, more loving.
Mm-hmm. You think that?
I truly do. I could have portrayed her, you know.
Well, yes, I can see you in that role, and yes, I can see where she could have been more loving.
You never would have been able to leave her.
His heart was always hers. She asked him to leave.
The role, the role would have been written with more understanding of how she was feeling.
I don't think there'll be a remake of the film. I wish now that I had your advice when I was writing the script. Now you see why, as a screenwriter, I'm a footnote.
It was a wonderful film. Underrated. I love it. And Unseen Candle. Amazing.
I can't believe it. You saw Unseen Candle. No one saw Unseen Candle. That's why the title proved appropriate.
I would have liked to portray Ludmilla. I think you wrote all your female roles for me.
I never realized that, but it's possible. I've always idealized you. Created my female roles in ways that I imagined you to be.
Am I what you'd hope?
Well, yes, and it makes me feel guilty.
Why?
Well, maybe I'll write about it. I don't know how to explain it. I lost my Grace Kelly.
I find you charming, but confused.
Well, at least you found me.
I find you more than reasonably attractive.
I don't feel quite as lost as I did when I came here. I think I should wear a collar with a tag that says if lost, return to
Return to whom?
To my saving grace.
Well, if he won't join the party, then we'll bring the party to you. Stuart, meet Natalie. I told her about you and she's just dying to meet you.
I've gone a stage further than that.
Hi.
Hello.
I hope you'll come join the party.
Stuart, Natalie is about as fond of parties as you are.
It's a lovely party, Gabriella. You know I never stay too long. I'm just gonna go back and get my purse and say goodbye to everybody.
Well, I thought you two should get to know each other so that...
So you won't go to parties together? It's the only point I see in such an introduction.
So if you really did want to leave, Stuart, perhaps you could escort Natalie to her car or someplace you could go for a drink. Please excuse me, I'm sure that I'm wanted in there.
I don't ever stay long at parties.
I rarely go out at all.
Well, maybe I'm just boring.
I'm sure that's not true.
The possibility that she's boring exists.
Look, Gabrielle is trying to set us up. Please don't feel obligated. I can find my way to my car just fine.
Well, I appreciate you saying that. I really do.
Look, I told Gabriella didn't want to meet someone this way. She said that I have two qualities that every man is looking for. I'm real and I'm available.
Huh.
I told her that wasn't much of a confidence builder.
I would say real and available is very compelling. Sounds wonderful, in fact.
Look at the stars.
You're not just real and available, but you're also very beautiful. Anyone in his right mind would take this opportunity, invite you for a drink right now. So, here's your invitation. Are you ready?
Well, I already know I'll accept.
I invite you to go back to the party and find someone just as real and just as available as you are. And I'm real, you know, I admit that. I'm much too real, but I'm not at all available. So you go stay in there for 15 minutes, half an hour if you think you're making a connection.
Well, since I said I'd accept, I will. But if I can't stand it in there, I'm coming back out and I'm going to ask you to see me to my car, okay?
Deal.
Deal.
Look how beautiful the stars are.
Stars are amazing.
What's it like where you come and go? Do you travel to the stars?
Nothing like that.
Well, do you go back to the prince?
Love doesn't die. There are journeys we can't take until, well, we understand how to take them.
What are you telling me?
What you already know.
I used to look up at the stars because she told me if I needed her, she'd be there.
Love never dies.
So I look up. I feel her watching over me, and it helps me sleep at night. But there's no comfort in the morning.
Are you talking about your other Grace Kelly?
I am.
I love you.
I know.
And you needed me. So I'm here. That's part of the meaning of love. I couldn't disappoint you.
You've made me happy. Amazing the twists and turns of life. Who knew you'd come?
I think about winding roads. I can't help but think of them. Beautiful roads, leading from home to paradise and back again. And then something I thought was one thing became a totally different thing, and there was no time to say I love you, and there was no time to say goodbye. There was only confusion and the thought of regaining control.
I think of a passenger train. Lights on in each of the cars. Outside only darkness. Darkness. It sounds as if it's traveling on a track, but I don't think so. I think it's somehow moving in an endless void. A young boy boards. His parents are left behind. He cowers in a corner on the floor, lost and alone. He looks around. The passengers turn toward him and look through him as if he's invisible. He thinks things will be better if he can just get to the next car. So he gathers all his courage. He stands, then he moves ahead furtively. The passengers laugh. And as they do, he holds himself higher and the laughter subsides. And he reaches the door of the passenger car and it opens with a deafening whoosh. And the wind from the velocity of the train hurtling forward almost knocks him back, but he reaches the next car. He throws open the door and he stands with head held high. He's welcomed. But it isn't enough. He reaches the next car. There is a woman he meets to whom he gives his heart. She holds it tight, but the strain starts making sharp turns at her grasp of it, weakens and then strengthens and then weakens. He can't see what's happening as he's hurled into the next car. But as he looks behind, he sees the door has remained open. He waits for her to come forward and join him. And then the lights go out. He sees nothing. And there's only darkness. Darkness. Darkness, and a little boy cowers on the floor of the train, awash with tears that feel like the heavens pouring down on him. He clutches his chest. There's an emptiness within and an emptiness without. All sounds stop, and the train floats into infinity.
Keep looking at the stars. See if you can touch the boundaries of infinity.
What are you doing?
I had to take off those high heels. Gives a feeling of freedom. Besides, I don't see how I'd be able to get onto this ledge with them on.
Are you sure you want to do that?
Come. Be with me. Forever.
Well, great, guys.
Close your eyes. Don't look down. Only up to the stars. Are you ready, my love?
I'm ready. Well,
Grace come down from the heavens above. You're the one I'm finally worthy of. Hold me, lover, in eternal embrace. I'm coming. coming home to find my saving grace. I'm coming home to see my saving grace. I'm coming home to see my saving grace. I'm coming home to see my saving grace.
Mr. Paradise? Mr. Anthony Paradise. This is your book?
Did you buy it?
Yes.
It belongs to you.
No. A work of art is not a commodity, Mr. Paradise. It is never bought or sold. It always remains in the possession of the person who produced it. May I come in?
No.
You received my letters?
Yes.
All three of them?
Yes.
Why didn't you answer my letters, Mr. Paradise?
I have not yet heard the sound of Gabriel's hymn.
What do you mean?
The time is not yet ripe for my resurrection. How did you happen to come across that little book?
Mother and I were hunting antiques in the quarter. We went in a little shop on Bourbon Street. There was a little Chinese tea table with one leg slightly shorter than the other one. And the antique dealer had placed this volume under the short leg to balance the table. Mother bought the table and the chauffeur carried it out to the car. And this little book was left there, lying on the floor. The antique dealer kicked it out of the way without even looking at it. To me, there's always something a little pathetic about a discarded book. You see, I write a little myself. Poems mostly. I know what it means to put your heart on paper and have that paper lost or forgotten or used to balance a table. I stooped over to look at the book, and the title had been rubbed off. The gilt lettering was gone, but I could still see your name on it. Anthony Paradise. It struck my fancy, so I picked it up and I turned through the pages. And this is a book of poems, I said to the dealer. Is it? He said. How did you get it? I asked him. Where did it come from? How long has it been lying there? Who is Anthony Paradise? The antique dealer laughed. God only knows, he said. I probably bought it up with a bunch of others a long, long time ago. It might have been stuck in a bookcase I bought from somebody. Stuff like that don't sell. Sometimes I use it to light the fire up with. I would like to buy it, I said. How much do you want for this book? He spread his arms out in this great, munificent gesture and said, you can have it for nothing. The chauffeur came back in to remind me that Mother was waiting in the car, so I hurried back out, slipping the little volume of verse in my pocketbook. We rushed off to another cocktail party. I'm home from college for the holidays, and life is a round of those things. It was more than usually dull this afternoon. I don't believe in dullness. I believe in excitement and wonder and passion. I believe in people having a storm in their hearts, a great big furious storm that sweeps all trivialities away, like scraps of ribbon or dead leaves. I went upstairs to look at the book, which I suddenly remembered when somebody asked me how I liked Bryn Mawr for the 20th time. Would you believe it? To my infinite wonder, I discovered what I had been looking for exactly. A great big furious storm that swept those trivialities away, like scraps of ribbons or dead leaves. What do you think of that?
Are you referring to this book of verse?
Yes.
Huh.
Yes.
Young lady, this book was published 15, 20 years ago. Nobody remembers it now. It's completely forgotten.
I remember it. I sat up in that powder room for heaven knows how long, reading through it once more and then again and again, and it was like bells ringing inside me. Great big solemn cathedral bells that shook me through and through. Mother came upstairs. Good gracious, she said. Everyone thinks you've run away from the party. What is the matter? Mother, I said, who is Mr. Anthony Paradise? Have you ever heard of a man named Paradise? No, she hadn't, and neither had anyone else. I went around feverishly inquiring of bookstores and libraries and all kinds of writers I know. No luck. Completely unknown. Then, at last, I wrote a letter to the publishing firm, and in due time, I received an answer saying that Mr. Anthony Paradise, when last heard of, was living in the old French quarter of New Orleans, but that was 10 or 15 years ago, and it was feared that he might have disappeared altogether. Speaking of miracles, what do you think of that? Here you were, right at the tips of my fingers. You in one part of town and me in the other, 15 minutes away. At first, I thought of rushing right over without any warning. Time was short and the holidays nearly over. I drove over here to this very address which the publishers had given me and discovered that you were still actually in residence here and had been for 20 years, they told me. You weren't in. So I wrote you the first of the letters. I got no answer. Time came to go back to school, and I pretended I was ill. I faked a bad cold to postpone my departure and wrote you 2 more letters, which you also ignored. I won't ask you why. It doesn't matter. Then I determined that I wouldn't be snubbed. I wouldn't let you refuse to be discovered. So here I am. Here I am, Mr. Paradise, and here you are.
Here you are. Here I am. Yes, indeed. What are you intending to do about it?
Oh, don't you know? Can't you guess? Mr. Paradise, I'm going to give you back to the world.
Give me back to the world?
Yes, the stupid, blind, negligent world that let you slip away.
Suppose I don't want to go back. Suppose I prefer to remain in oblivion.
You can't. I won't. It's useless for you to resist. Don't try, Mr. Paradise. Don't try. I have already set the ball in motion.
And stop it quickly, please.
No. I've written letters to influential people, writers and publishers that I know in the East. I've already created a great deal of interest in you, Mr. Paradise. When you leave here, you are going to leave with me.
No.
Yeah, yes, you are. You're going to live among people who appreciate genius. You're going to give readings and lectures.
Readings to whom?
Clubs, colleges, societies of poets.
Lectures on what?
Beauty, art, poetry.
God forbid. Haven't you been reading the papers lately?
Why?
Today the world is interested in gunpowder. Poetry cannot compete with the sound of bursting shells. These are the times for the discovery of new weapons, not for the resurrection of neglected poets. Even if I wished to be resurrected, Gabriel has not yet blown the horn. The surest and cruelest way to destroy Anthony Paradise, the poet, is to exhibit Jonathan Jones, the man. What's left of the man? Don't you see what a grisly spectacle I would present on a college lecture platform? Look at me. You're not blind. What do you see?
The way you look doesn't matter.
Well, yes, it does. Maybe not to you because you're young and generous. No, the time isn't ripe. Keep the book, remember my name, and watch the obituary column. Someday you will see the name of Jonathan Jones. Then come back again and look up Mr. Anthony Paradise. That will be the time. And Jones is dead. Jones is a living contradiction of Paradise. Paradise won't have a chance to breathe until Jones has stopped breathing. Take my word for that and be satisfied.
Can't you be Anthony Paradise now? Again?
No, it's too late. I'm too old. Death is the only thing that could possibly save my reputation. Go back to school, little girl. There's an end to everything, even the supply of gunpowder. When they've exhausted, people will start looking again under little table legs for little volumes of forgotten verse. By that time, Jonathan Jones will be safely out of the way. The sun will be shining on a brand new blue sky. Wind will stir the grass on the tops of the hills. Children will dig in the sand on some beaches. The world will be warm and serene and as young as tomorrow. Then all the old, sweet, gentle voices will be distinguished once again. You will hear the wind in the trees and the rain on the roofs. and the songs of long-lost poets. Guns explode and destroy and are destroyed themselves, but these little things, these, however little and important they are, these little titles keep on singing forever. They have their times of eclipse, but they rise again. The direction of life is upward. The direction of death is down. The notion of even the blindest of all blind fools can fail to see what is going to be, cannot fail to see what is going to be finally highest up. Not death, but life, my dear, life. I defy them to stop it forever. Not with all their guns, not with all their destruction. We will keep on singing. Someday the air all over the earth will be full of our singing. Is that your chauffeur?
Yes.
You better go.
Mr. Paradise. Maybe you're right. I'm going to do what you say, keep the book, and remember your name.
And watch the obituary column.
Yes. And when the time comes, you can depend on me, Mr. Paradise.
Thank you, my dear. I shall depend on you.
I promise you I won't fail you. Your future is safe in my hands. And now, Mr. Paradise, won't you kiss me goodbye?
No.
Why not?
For the same reason I wouldn't touch a clean white tablecloth with mud all over my fingers.
Bye, Mr. Paradise.